CNBC बाजार प्रस्तुत करता है क्रिप्टो कॉर्नर पावर्ड बाय बाइनेंस।
नमस्कार, क्रिप्टो कॉर्नर में आपका स्वागत है। हमारे साथ आज कार्यक्रम में जुड़ रहे हैं स्वान बिटकॉइन के फाउंडर एंड सीईओ कॉरी क्लिप्स्टन। कॉरी, हाय, बहुत शुक्रिया साथ जुड़ने के लिए। और सबसे पहले टोकनाइज्ड रियल वर्ल्ड एसेट्स, ट्रेडिशनल कमोडिटीज लगातार यहाँ पर इंक्रीज होती हुई नजर आई हैं 24/7 ब्लॉकचेन पर। हाउ वुड यू से ऑन हाउ बिटकॉइन डिफरेंशिएट्स इटसेल्फ विद टोकनाइज्ड गोल्ड और ऑयल इन अ सॉवरेन पोर्टफोलियो?
It's a very interesting question. I absolutely expect this type of inquiry from more of a TradFi audience. So what I would say is that Bitcoin is the only digital asset that is completely divorced from the real world, and that is a tremendous benefit. So if you're thinking about a money where in the present for some people and in the future for most or even all of us, we can trust that money to not be censorable, not be confiscatable, for the transactions not to be reversible. You can't have that with these private blockchains, these other tokens that are centralized, that are centrally controlled, that are sort of decentralized in name only. If you tokenized gold, for instance, then that token is not the asset itself, unlike Bitcoin, which means that these centralized companies that actually custody the gold, that ship the gold, they are subject to government pressures, and they're subject to all kinds of bad behavior by centralized third parties that custody the gold. And you have to trust a whole chain of companies and governments and authorities to sit between you and your asset, or you and your counterparty in a transaction, which is the exact set of problems that Bitcoin was invented to solve.
Cory, how do you project Bitcoin's role evolving in cross-border settlements as nations explore alternatives to the US dollar?
There is certainly a narrative right now around de-dollarization, and it's popular with lots of different factions around the world, both in the West and outside the West. I don't think it's true. I do see instead the dollar's monetary network effect actually increasing right now, at the same time that Bitcoin is increasing its monetary network effect, and frankly, gold is on the rise as well, as we've seen with the increases in purchasing power in recent years for both of those alternative assets. I expect there to be a three-horse race between the dollar, Bitcoin, and gold, with people preferring one or the other for different uses, and Bitcoin being the fastest horse in the race, meaning that while the dollar obviously continues to decrease in purchasing power, the other two, gold and Bitcoin, will increase in purchasing power, with Bitcoin increasing faster in the coming decades. So that's pretty much how I expect this to play out. There is no other centrally controlled government printed fiat currency that can compete with the dollar in that category. So I really think it will only be Bitcoin that has a chance to unseat the dollar sometime later in this century as being the dominant global store of value.
Cory, Bitcoin is on one side, but there are other altcoins and tokens like Ethereum, Solana, which also have seen higher trading volumes. What do you make of that?
So thinking about the world of non-Bitcoin crypto, I don't really spend much time on it anymore because none of them are gunning for a monetary use case. They've kind of all given up on anything about competing with Bitcoin to be money. And so I really just don't think of them as much more than tech companies with kind of company script that's required to be used in different ways, not unlike kind of a company store in a mining town 150 years ago. And so you're kind of locked into their little ecosystem, and they gen up different ways to try to create demand for their token, or try to burn supply, or just kind of actively manage it, very much like a treasury function at a company with a stock tries to manage their treasury and make their stock price go up. None of them can hold a candle to Bitcoin's decentralization, its network effect, its story, its purpose as money. I just see them as, as usual, out of the 30 million altcoins, 99.9999, I don't know, 4 or 5 nines are scams, and then a few of them are actually trying to do something, but the value of their tokens will continue to dwindle in Bitcoin terms over the long haul, as they always have.
Final question then, Cory. With US spot Bitcoin ETFs logging massive inflows, has institutional money changed the organic price discovery model of Bitcoin?
There has been a lot of increased institutional adoption and access for Bitcoin, and would say kind of Bitcoin IOUs or paper Bitcoin or receipts for Bitcoin in different flavors over the last few years. I certainly prefer the real thing, real on-chain Bitcoin, and actually self-custody and helping clients of ours, businesses and families and individuals actually learn to custody their own Bitcoin. That's actually what it's for. And frankly, Bitcoin that is in self-custody is worth quite a bit more than Bitcoin that somebody else holds for you, especially given the history of seizures of assets in the past from different governments, and then obviously lots of custodian blowups and theft, et cetera, in the crypto space historically over the last 15 years. So I think it is important to learn how to do that for your family or for your company. That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. We actually just launched a product about 3 weeks ago called Swan RBX, the real Bitcoin exchange that lets families and businesses get out of a Bitcoin ETF and into real on-chain Bitcoin while not paying cap gains tax. Obviously not financial advice, check with your advisor, et cetera, but we've been doing it for hundreds of clients, and it's really important for people to know that the way these ETFs in the USA are structured, you actually can do that, and you can get out of an ETF like GBTC and carry your cost basis forward into real Bitcoin.
Point taken. Cory Klippsten, thank you so much for joining in. तो कॉरी हमें ये बता रहे हैं कि प्राइस डिस्कवरी मॉडल को लेकर यहाँ पर काफ़ी काम हो रहा है, लेकिन कॉरी क्लियरली बिटकॉइन को यहाँ पर मैक्सिमलिस्ट हैं, उनको लगता है बिटकॉइन एक सही तरीका है यहाँ पर कारोबार करने का। और जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि दूसरे कई हज़ारों लाखों यहाँ पर ऑल्ट कॉइन्स हैं, जिसमें से सिर्फ चुनिंदा 5-7 ऐसे हैं जो कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, यूटिलिटी कॉइन्स हैं जिनमें निवेश किया जाना चाहिए, बाकी काफ़ी हद तक यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, और वो मीम कॉइन्स हैं और उनसे काफ़ी हद तक यहाँ पर आगे जाकर बचना ही चाहिए।
CNBC बाजार प्रस्तुत करता है क्रिप्टो कॉर्नर, पावर्ड बाय बाइनेंस।